This is Wrestling.me news report and audio review at LK here with another edition of LK's Wrestling Reviews. This is your weekly TNA Impact Wrestling review. Yes, I'm going to do it weekly again. And again, put in the comment section, is this a win? Was this show a loss? Was this show a tie? It's 4:13 a.m. The show literally just finished watching it. I live in the UK, so I had to watch it on a dodgy pirate stream. I would have watched it on Pop TV if I had Pop TV, but guess what? I don't have Pop TV because I'm in English and I'm fucking proud of it. And if you are wondering, if you are in England or wondering how you can watch TNA Impact Wrestling on your TV every single week, it is on Sundays. So 5 days after it airs in the States, it's on Sundays. So for instance, this week, this show that just aired, if you want to watch it in England, you have to wait till Sunday to watch that. That's 9 p.m. on Challenge TV every single Sunday. I am hoping, though, that the UK television deal does update itself a little bit. I know they got a TV deal now for a while, but I hope it updates itself just a little bit more, because at the end of the day, I do like watching TNA, and what I said in the Raw review this week on the Wrestling.me Raw review show that we did, I said that I don't watch Raw live. I wait for an hour for it to be recorded, so that I don't give them the viewership numbers, and so I can fast forward the adverts. And I wish I could do that with Impact, because I'll be honest, I watched the live stream, which is obviously Pop TV, and the adverts killed me. They killed me. I've never seen such a bullshit American advertisements are the worst. Like, you think, as an Englishman, I sit there, watch the adverts. Our adverts are really short. And your American adverts are really fucking long. But anyway, enough of this fucking lollygagging and pussy fucking around about fucking television adverts from different countries. Yeah, to hear me talk about Impact. And before we get down to breaking it down, I loved the set. They had a new set. It kind of, if you've never seen it before, it kind of reminded me like an NXT dash. Do you remember the big WrestleMania fuck off 27 stage? It was just this massive fuck off stage. And then you had this, just a big screen, a hole in the middle where the wrestlers come from. Imagine that much smaller scales. It was just a fuck off screen, a hole for the wrestlers to come through, and a few nice billboards at the side. And it looked really professional. There was good lighting. The ring was lit up very well. There was a new ramp that looked very nice. It was a new fresh start, a new fresh look, and it was a higher quality of production than what I was actually expecting, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, compared to what they did before on the Impact Zone, which looked pretty mediocre or poor. It was started off with some good video packages. This is obviously their debut for Pop TV. Started off with some good video packages to kick off the show, really introducing the fans who maybe have never watched TNA before to the talent and the storylines that are heading into the show, which obviously culminates with the World Title Series with both the semi-finals and the final. The commentators for the show are Pope and Josh Matthews. If you've been following me for a long time, you'll know that I'm maybe not the biggest Josh Matthews fan in the world, and I'm going to be honest, that's probably true. But on this show, he was okay. Pope irritates me a lot. For some reason, like every now and then, there's always that commentator that just pisses me off. I'm sorry if I'm flicker with my hair. I got a new haircut because this is really funny. So, Alberto Del Rio, if you listen to the Raw review, I put over Alberto Del Rio's new haircut. A big deal. Like I said, look, I fucking love Alberto Del Rio's hair. So you know what? I'm in the mood for that. So I went down to the hairdresser. I said, look, give me a trim, freshen me up. He said, how about if I give you a little flick inside? So it's all short on the sides there, it's all really short on the sides, and then on the top it's a little bit longer. Then I got the old flickaroo there, where it's all flicked to the side. And I thought, I like that. That's what I'll go with that, and that'll do me for the time being. And the only issue is with the wax gimmick. You use the wax, and then after a while, it gets really hard, and a bit when I flick it, it gets a bit weird. But hey ho. But what the fuck is this? This isn't Bucket Full of Waffles. I'm talking about my fucking hairstyle. It's absolutely unbelievable. Back to the point. Pope, he annoys me a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I was a fan of his in-ring work when he was Elijah Burke in ECW and in OVW. When he came to TNA in 2010. As the Pope D'Angelo De Niro, and he had that thing going on with Styles at the lockdown event that year. I thought he was going to be a megastar, but then all of a sudden he dropped. He started teaming with Desmond Wolfe in 2011, 2012, and then he just gradually, slowly drifted off the radar to the point where he's now in the commentary position. He's an okay commentator, just he gets a bit overexcited for things that aren't really exciting. So we start off properly, though, with Dixie Carter in the ring. She cuts a promo thanking the fans, thanking Pop TV. Thank you, Dixie chants. EC3 interrupts, and the crowd, I'm going to be honest, were pretty red hot all night. I think they're in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Don't quote me on that. I don't know my states between. I can't just tell the difference between states. In England, there's so little few, and then in America, there's just so fuck off many of them, and there's states in states. And I'm there like, what the fuck is going on here? I have no fucking clue where these people are. They should just do what WWE do, and that's ignore them if they're not in New York City, Chicago, or Florida, or Texas. If you notice that WWE do that, like when they're in like Chicago, Philadelphia, they'll really put over, hey, look, we're in Chicago, Philadelphia, New York City. But when they're in some like low life, well, I don't mean low lifetime, some town that isn't mainstream to the world, like they don't particularly know that town, then they won't put it over as much, which does make me laugh. Anyway, so we have EC3 interrupting. EC3 blames Dixie Carter for him not having the World Championship. Fat Hardy then comes out. The crowd are 50-50 for Hardy, which changes by the end of the night. Because at the start of the night, they're like, okay, I really want EC3 to win, but then EC3 cuts a great heel promo on the stick, and he does a really good job of getting that. That's one thing I love about EC3. He's not one of those guys who goes out there, he's being told to portray a heel character, but he goes out there and pretends to be a bit, he tries to get the pop. Like, for instance, I love Dolph Ziggler more than the straight man should, I really do. But Dolph Ziggler and WWE a few years ago, when he was the heel, he tried to get those pops. You could see in his work, he was really trying hard to try and get the pops. That really used to piss me off because, look, you're heel. You're getting paid to get booed. In my opinion, if I was a heel for fucking some stupid reason, I ever laced a pair of wrestling boots up and I was told, look, you're a heel, I want to go out there. My cheers would be the boos. That's how I'd look at it. And at the end of the day, if you're going out there, you're getting booed out of the building, that means you're doing your job right. Am I right or am I right? Yeah, it's not rocket science. That's what makes EC3 so great. He's such a good heel. He doesn't want the crowd to cheer for him. You can see he tries his hardest to get them to boo him. And when he came out, he got a pop. But at the end of the night, they were all booing his ass. That's how good he is at his job. And I really do condemn that. And EC3, it's just gold. And I'm going to get onto that when I break down the main event with Fat Hardy and EC3. And I apologize if you're a Matt Hardy fan. I'd probably tune out. I think I've never liked the guy. I was brought up with the Hardys, like 2000, 2001, 99. When I was younger, never liked them. Never had time for them. I think they're overrated pieces of shit. They never enhance in-ring psychology. Their characters are non-existent. It's never say die. It's like, no, that's not character. Like, EC3 is a character. He's a cocky son of a bitch who you just want to smack. He's an absolute douchebag. That's a fucking character. Kevin Owens is now a badass. He's finally got himself a fucking character. It's about damn time. So there's a good job to be there. This is TNA. Then basically Fat Hardy comes out. Eric Young then attacks Hardy from behind. So obviously in the semi-finals, it's Eric Young versus Hardy. Lashley then comes out to make the save. They have a huge brawl. Fat Hardy tumbles off the top rope onto Lashley, EC3, and Tyrus. So Tyrus is another sack of shit. But I got to be careful. And the one thing we stopped doing Impact reviews is because the people who tend to watch Impact are really, really loyal Impact fans. They will not disrespect the product in any way, shape, or form. Whereas us at PWME, what we try to do our hardest is when we watch a show, if we think it's good, we're going to put it over. If we think it stinks, we're going to bury the fuck out of it. I did honestly think, I think the show's a win. Again, put in the comment section, win, loss, or tie. I'll reply to all comments. If you're listening to this on the live stream or on my channel here, I can't see the comments. So don't leave a comment now. Wait till the show is finished and then published. Then leave a comment and I'll be able to get back to you. But if you're leaving comments in the chat section, it's saying it's working, but it's actually not. And I can't get access to it. And it's really bugging me. And it's like that on KocoSports YouTube channel as well. And it's really fucking annoying and it ruins the show. But again, this is also going to be uploaded on my channel and then also on the KocoSports-Wrestling.me YouTube channel. So either one of them you're listening, please just drop in the comments what you thought of the show in general, and I'll definitely give you some feedback on that. So I enjoyed the opener. It was the opening match. We had a semi-final for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, obviously in the vacant TNA World Title Series because of October at the Bound for Glory, where Matt Hardy surrendered the championship on YouTube. I bet they were pretty chuffed that the live chat was disabled for that one. They fucking hell. It was Lashley EC3. And before we get down to the match, the crowd, it was a good-sized crowd. It was a nice venue. The whole thing as a whole, production-wise, it looked professional. Whoever thought of that, did a really good job. It looked like a different show. It had that excitement filled to it. It looked professional. It kind of reminded me of the NXT venue in Full Sail. Obviously, there wasn't the Full Sail fuckers, the bumbling bunch of baboons. I can't stand them, but that's different. That's a different story for a different time. But this crowd was a great crowd. They weren't dumb. They weren't overly smart. They went there. They paid their money to cheer for the guys they like and boo the guys they don't. And I like that. And one thing I love about EC3, I talked earlier on in the show about how EC3 is such a good heel. One thing he did in that is he kept on, Lashley hit a spear early on, he kept rolling out of the ring. Lashley kept going for the spear again. EC3 kept rolling out of the ring. As a viewer at home or a viewer live there in the audience, you can be sitting there thinking, oh, that little fucking pussy keeps rolling out the ring, that son of a bitch. I want him to get his fucking ass kicked, which makes Lashley more over in the process because you're now emotionally invested. You're rooting for Lashley to kick his ass, and that's a very good job and very underestimated when it comes to wrestling. Little heel heat, I adore things. I adore little simple basics, fundamentals when it comes to wrestling. I love a spot fest like the next person, but when they just go down to the fundamentals like the heel heat and like raking the eyes every now and then, thumbing the eyes when the ref's not looking, low blow, schoolboy foot on the ropes, or rolling out of the ring to get yourself heel heat, little things like that. Or in-ring psychology is big to me. Like when I halfway through New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 10, I do apologize, this work schedule's been a bitch, and I wanted to do this TNA Impact review as soon as it aired. So tomorrow there will be a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 10 review on here where I'll break that down. And I was watching Kenny, not going to give any spoilers, Kenny Omega versus Kushida, so don't worry, there'll be definitely be no spoilers. Kenny Omega's shoulders worked on the whole match, and he sold it like an absolute fucking champ. And I absolutely condemn him from that. He did a fucking great job, and I really want to put that match over, and I'm looking forward to it. The match ends. The referee Tyrus distracts Lashley. EC3 rolls him up to get the win. This is good booking. You're protecting Lashley. There was nothing really memorable about the match. I won't remember it tomorrow. I barely remember it now. I mean, one highlight was Tyrus slamming Lashley on the floor. But the only thing I really remember for me personally was EC3 just being him. And that's a fucking good heel. And I love the guy more than a straight. Literally, 2015, what I can take from TNA is EC3. That's about it. Bobby Roode, and I'll get on to Bobby Roode in a minute. Cause what a segment that was. That was a great segment, and I'm happy that I'm actually coming here talking positive about TNA, because I remember for the longest time I was coming on here, I was burying TNA on social media, I was burying TNA, I was getting lots of heel heat from it for some particular reason. The point I touched on this earlier on. You with TNA, you either love TNA or you hate it so much that they could have a show full of 10-star matches on a 5-star system, and they wouldn't be good enough for you. And I have a friend like that. Like, I'm not going to mention names. He likes alternatives. He watches Ring of Honor. He dabs into Japanese wrestling. He loves WWE, but for some particular reason, when it comes to TNA, he just doesn't get it. He just doesn't care. Like, there's no emotional investment about it. And as when it pertains to me myself, I watch anything that involves a wrestling ring in, it may be a 6-sided one, but still anything that involves a wrestling ring and characters that I have emotional investment. And as much as I do despise TNA, because I remember watching it back in 08, 09, 10, thinking, look, this one day is going to be bigger than WWE, and then seeing what it crumbled to. And this is obviously their third network that they're on, and they're lucky they're still in business, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But I mean, you got EC3 in there with Kurt Angle. I mean, you got the Wolves, which I love. You got Bobby Roode, which I love. Lashley, which I love. And I really love Lashley. I mean, I'm wearing Lashley's shirt right now, the Destroy Your Opponent Lashley one, which I got in the TNA Blue Bag special. Literally, I've always to go now. So this sounds really bad. Okay, so on the Euro shop TNA has, there was a Blue Bag special. It was $20 or £20. Sorry. With that, you got. I think I've got it here with me. Yeah, we fucking have. So with that, here's a little Blue Bag special opening. I got a signed Magnus photo. I got the Bobby Lashley shirt. I got the blue bag itself, which is upstairs in my room. I can't get that. I got a Bound for Glory DVD, which was the one where Buddy Ray faced AJ Styles in his last Bound for Glory. Poor bastard. AJ potentially moving to WWE. That's very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And also I got a Final Resolution 2012. So honestly, I do. If you're looking for a TNA fan and you live in England and you're looking for a TNA fan, maybe something for someone's birthday where you don't want to hack out so much money, but it looks like you spent a lot of money on them, I would get that. I really recommend the Blue Bag special, because I mean, I haven't watched these DVDs yet because I remember them. I remember watching them specifically. Now I remember Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode on Bound for Glory 2013 being one of the best matches I've seen that year indefinitely. So what I tend to do is I tend to not watch shows for a very long time after they air, and then I'll go back to them in like 10 years. Like for instance, right now, I'm watching things on the network, which I finally got back. And I went on WWE Network, and I was like, I'm going to have one more try at sorting this out. If I don't, I'm never going back to it. And it sorted out. I was really fucking happy that I sorted it out, and I'm going to watch WrestleMania 6. I'm going to watch that Jake Roberts promo that I put over on this week's Monday Night Raw review. Would I recommend watching EC3 last year? If you're a really diehard TNA fan, watch the whole fucking show, because it's a pretty damn good show. If you're I watch anything that's good pricing, maybe give it a watch. Appreciate EC3 while you can, and Lashley's very good at hiding his weaknesses. And if you hate TNA, don't watch the show in general. Like, if you are literally watching TNA to criticize it, don't watch it, please. You're wasting 2 hours of your life. I mean, I know your life's a waste as it is, but that was a bit naughty. That was a shot below the belt there. That's going to get me some heel heat for sure. I understand why people don't like TNA. I do. I honestly do. Like I said, I got a friend, like a friend I actually see in real life all the time. He's like, how's TNA all right? How's TNA doing? I'm like, yeah, they're fighting the good fight. I think. I'm not too sure. It's a grind. And when it pertains to TNA, I do find it to be a grind watching it sometimes. But the live element of this show did help it a lot. Then we had Kurt Angle come out. Really hot crowd for Angle. I think obviously in Pennsylvania, Kurt Angle's from Pittsburgh, which is just down the road from there. I think that's what Josh Matthews said. So, he's going to be over. There was Angle chants. There was thank you Angle chants. Angle cut a pretty decent emotional promo thanking the crowd. Angle then announces he'll be facing Galloway next week as part of his farewell tour. That was interrupted by Jesse Goddard. He interrupts and says that he is the future. Eli Drake then interrupts, cuts a promo disrespecting Angle and Galloway. He even called Angle an Anglesaurus, which I shouldn't laugh, but I thought was kind of funny. I'm going to be honest, I did find it fairly amusing because dinosaurs, old, Angle, old, really cheap heat, like very cheap heat. But it's funny heat. Like, I would rather that heat any day. And some of the bullshit that they come out with when it comes to WWE with all they're in Chicago. The Chicago Bears suck. Like, bro, I don't know what the Chicago Bears are. You're a worldwide global company, and you're putting over these American football teams that no one else in the whole world knows apart from you. And Jesus Christ, WWE grinds my. I don't know why I compare it to everything to WWE. It's just, I think it's the standard. Like, even though I say so many times on all these different shows that I do that WWE is not a wrestling company. It's not. It's sports entertainment. This is a wrestling company, and I love how they keep using the word professional wrestling. I love that. I really love that. I love how Ring of Honor does that. New Japan obviously does that. And I hate the word sports. Like, for instance, WWE.com reported on the potential signings of AJ Styles and the potential signings of Nakamura, Gallows, and Carl Anderson. They reported that on WWE.com, which pretty much means it's going to happen, pretty much guaranteed now. But they did it. It said the sports entertainment world is buzzing. I'm there like, oh my good lord, someone give me a rifle, let me shoot the guy who writ that. John Sharp, I don't know who writ that. I'm fucking hot at him. Fucking imbeciles. Like, when they talk about the internet wrestling community, they call it the internet sports entertainment community. Like, how in any way, shape, or form, in any stretch of the imagination, is what Kevin Owens and Neville did in the ring? How was that sports entertainment? That was wrestling. They were wrestling in a 20 by 20 squared circle. That makes it wrestling. I could go on for a whole round. This show has been a fucking bucket full of waffles in its own entirety. I've still got 5 fucking pages of notes, and I'm barely at the Angle promise. See, I've got Goddard's come out, Drake come out. Drake called Angle an Anglesaurus. Drake and Goddard then run to the ring. They brawl against Angle and Galloway, and then Galloway and Angle get the upper hand. Goddard and Drake escape before they get beaten anymore. And I like this. I like the booking of this a lot because, you're promoting next week's show, and that's one thing that I always put over TNA for. They do a good job at promoting, or WWE Present, where TNA promotes. So TNA have got a good thing going there. He did a very good job promoting next week's show, which is obviously Angle versus Galloway. They also did a backstage segment later on where at the one night only pay-per-view on Friday, it's Angle and Goddard versus the Wolves. And Galloway versus the Wolves versus Goddard and Eli Drake. So you got that to look forward to on Friday. I don't know if I'll review that. Don't know if I'll watch it. If I'm going to watch it, I'll give it a review. But if I'm not going to watch it, that's not going to be. I probably don't want to review it because one night onlys are always shit. They always have been, always will be. And I liked how they gave Goddard and Drake TV time. They both look good. They look the part. They look like stars. They may not be the best professional wrestlers on the planet, but they're okay, and I'll tolerate them. We'll move on to the second semi-final of the night. Is have Eric Young versus Fat Hardy. And oh my god, Fat Hardy back. Oh fuck. I touched on earlier how I've just never been I just don't get the appeal of Matt Hardy in any way, shape. Can someone please in the comment drop what the appeal is of Matt Hardy? He's out of shape. He blows up. He's awful in the ring. His moveset is Jeff Hardy if he was limited. And it was... I'm not the biggest Jeff Hardy fan at all. No, I'm not. Spliff Hardy. That's so. Oh god, all these years. From like 06 to 08 onwards, Matt Hardy's been Fat Hardy. Jeff Hardy has been Spliff Hardy because obviously he went for that big stage where he went for that really big drug addiction. I shouldn't rip him for it, but like, dude, you're like, come on. I don't get how these wrestlers who are. I don't want to touch on that because I don't want to get blasted in the comments. I will give him credit though, Fat Hardy. I touched on earlier how he never uses in-ring psychology, but he did a good job selling some of his injuries from earlier on the night. Because obviously Eric Young attacked him, but during the opening segment there, and Eric Young is so underrated as a worker in general. I mean, but just in TNA alone, he did such a good job with the comedy act that he did in 08, 09, 10. Then he did a great job with the World Elite. He did a great job as the pretty much the number one babyface for the company in 2014, where he won the world title pretty much the night after Daniel Bryan won the world title. And now he's doing a great job being a really big badass, a crazy lunatic. And he's doing a great job at that. That's just a testament to what a great worker Eric Young is. He may not be the best wrestler in the world, but he gets being a character, and he does it really well, which is one thing that's missing from most pro wrestling. But one thing I do hate about both semifinals, I should have touched on this during the EC3 and Bobby Lashley match, was that there was no like quick roll-ups. There was no quick, because if it was kayfabe wise, like this is real. Okay, what I'm watching is real. In theory, they should be going for quick roll-ups, trying to get a quick win because they know they're going to have to compete later on tonight, especially these guys. I mean, those guys saw Lashley and EC3 have quite a long match, so if I'm going out there and this is real, I want to get a win as quick as possible so that I'm as fresh as possible for the main event for the world title. And maybe that's just me, or am I just being ludicrous? How dare I enhance, philosophy in wrestling these days? I just want spots. Come on. Unbelievable. Jesus Christ. It pissed me off a lot. Eric Young, though, did hit a pile driver on the Explosive 4, which was pretty damn nice. Then Eric Young jumps off the top in the midair. Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate to get the win. Okay, pissed off Fatty won. I'm going to be honest. I was just there like banging my head like, no, for fuck's sake. Fat Hardy, I was literally the whole night, I was not focused on, is this show going to be any good? I was, please do not let Matt Hardy win this world championship. Please, whatever you do, put the belt on Bram for all I can. Put the belt on Eli Drake. Don't put the belt on this fat fuck. Don't let this guy represent your company. I don't mean to be horrible. Yes, the guy's a living legend. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What's he a legend of? What's he done in his career that's great? Okay, he was involved in tag matches that were off the chart, and I'll give him that. He enhanced the TLC match to make TLC what it is today, and that's really a pay-per-view quality show in general, just based on that one match. I mean, WrestleMania 17, that was an amazing match. SummerSlam 2000, in the first official TLC match with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, were really revolutionary, and I'm not going to take that away from him. But that was a whole team effort. That was 6, 8 at WrestleMania 17, so we had Rhino and Spike Dudley in the mix. But apart from that, what has he done? Like, what has he done? He tagged along with Jeff, where Jeff went on to become a multi-time world champion in everywhere he'd been. Hardy's been a world champion in TNA. He gave it up on YouTube because everyone was pissed off that he won it. And come on. I'm happy that EC3 won that. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't watched, EC3 wins the fucking world championship. I'd never been so happy in my fucking life. Matt Hardy did lose. But the point of the fact that Eric Young, who battered Fat Hardy earlier on, didn't go over. I understand that, you want a babyface versus a heel in the main event, so it makes logical sense. But, have Hardy win in a fashion like maybe a roll-up win where Eric Young can just be really mad, then start beating the shit out of him after to get some heel heat, instead of having Hardy, who'd been battered before the match, but at the start of the show, have him then beat Eric Young. I feel that that's the first weakest booking decision of the night, because you're making Eric Young kind of look a bit weak. So if that's me and I'm writing this show, I would have Matt Hardy win by a roll-up so that you're going to protect the talent of Eric Young, because, Eric Young went on to do this feud with Bobby Roode and James Storm later on, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and that's the next segment, which I'm really looking forward to. But the match was pretty poor. I did enjoy that the twist of fate at the end. I'm going to be honest, I did. Going to call a spade, I did. But as a whole, I'm just not Matt Hardy's not for me. I don't know why. I've just never, ever been a fan of Fat Hardy. I think he's a fat waste of space. We'll move on to the next match. You had the TNA King of the Mountain Championship match. This was open challenge. It was made official via Bobby Roode's Twitter. What is that with people these days? It's like, I can't be bothered to cut a promo anymore. We'll just announce it on Twitter. Unbelievable. I'm going to be honest. It was accepted by Brown, which really disappointed me. Like, I thought, we could have got someone bigger. I don't know who we could have got, but, look at the indies. You could have had Trevor Lee come out. You could have had Austin Aries come out. You could have had Davey Richards come out. You could have Eddie Edwards come out and have a clinic with Bobby Roode. But you had Bram come out, and Roode gets the win with the Roode bomb to get the win. And I always say on my W reviews that if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton. Well, here's a new one for you. Not only do we have Big Match John, where no one wins matches like Big Match John. No one has a knack for winning big time matches like Big Match John. But we now have, if you build a professional wrestler from the ground up, you get Bobby Roode. So we now have lots of sayings going along when it comes to these reviews and these shows that you can always look out for. And it's fucking great, because I know Dave Keiko hates Randy Orton, which is why I bring it up a lot. In every show, I try to get that Randy Orton dig in there. And if you're wondering every now and then why I randomly bring up, if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton, it's because I'm just trying to dig at Dave, and it's fucking hysterical. Anyway, after the match, there, Eric Young comes out. He attacks Bobby Roode. Roode then goes for the Roode bomb on Eric Young, but Bram hits a low blow on Bobby Roode. Young and Bram then beat on Roode. James Storm then from out of nowhere comes out. He makes the save and a return. He then beats on Eric Young and Bram, send them to the back. Storm then cuts a promo saying he left TNA because he didn't like his character. Storm then cuts a fucking really good, passionate promo about how he helped make TNA, not TNA helped make him, and he loves the place. He says he wants to have fun. Storm then gives Roode a beer. Roode says money, and they drink a beer to the Beer Money theme song, and that means beer. They cut a promo at the back where they're back, they're official, and they're going to be facing Bram and Eric Young at the One Night Only on event on Friday, which will be on pay-per-view. Really great stuff, and especially for me, I marked out like a little bitch because I got into TNA in 2008, 2009. Victory Road 2008 was my very first show. I will never forget the moment where Kazarian jumped off the top onto the Sheikh Abdul Bashir of the Ultimate X structure. Fucking great, really good, top-notch show. And watch that. That's what pisses me off more is these new TNA fans who are like, oh, TNA's great. No, that's great. Go back and watch some of the stuff from 08, 09. I mean, Angle, Desmond Wolfe from late 2009. AJ Styles' world title run in 2009 was incredible. AJ versus Angle at the beginning of 2010 was incredible. There was lots of great shows, and then you see what we got now. But this was a great segment, and Beer Money was one of my favorite teams when it came to TNA. I remember when I went to a house show in 2010 over in England, I was looking forward to seeing Beer Money the most, and I was pumped when I saw Beer Money. They're so great. That the chemistry is all there. There's history there. I mean, I posted a tweet on Twitter how Beer Money versus the Wolves, please. Thank you. # Impact on Pop. And I was and you can follow me on Twitter at LK Wrestling. I'll definitely follow you back. So as a whole, I thought it was a great segment. Very well done. The James Storm return was kept quiet, which made me happy. The live element really helped this. I loved it. I was pumped. I was marking out like a 6-year-old bitch. I'll be honest, like fucking yes. Not as much as when EC3 won the world title at the end of the show, but I was still marking out like a little bitch. Very good job. Then we had the Dollhouse versus Beautiful People, which was Madison Rain and Velvet Sky and Gail Kim. And Velvet Sky, I'm going to be honest, she's improved a lot. I remember back in 08 and 09, as I just touched on earlier, she was green as goose shit and really I'm going to be honest, she was a terrible worker. She was there for her assets, if you know what I mean. But now she's improved into a good little worker, and I would say I'm proud of her, but I'm not a fucking father, but she did a good job. Jade and Gail Kim, though, had an incredible exchange of counters into counters, and I really hope that they do get a one-on-one match sometime, maybe 10-15 minutes, and they could have a great match. Kim gets the win with the victory roll. Aftermath, then Dollhouse beat down on the Beautiful People. Awesome Kong comes out to make the save. Then Kong attacks the Beautiful People. Kong hits an implant buster to Gail Kim. Kong now joins the Dollhouse. I like this. Kong, is this absolute behemoth of a woman. It makes sense for her to be the big monster heel of the division. She joins the Dollhouse. That gets heel on the Doghouse. I'm going to call them that for now. So you got Fat Hardy, and you got the Doghouse, and you got, if you build a professional wrestler from the ground, and get Bobby Roode. So that's what you got to look out for in these TNA reviews. And I'll pop them in there. You won't even realize I do it half the time. It's just natural, and it's fucking hysterical. Anyway, back to the point I'm trying to make. Kong as the monster heel makes a lot of logical sense. Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, the history of that dates back to even 2007, the Bound for Glory show, where they crowned the first ever TNA Knockouts champion. You had the Kim and the Kong there. So you can talk about the history, maybe do some flashbacks, and really promote this as a big time match. I mean, two very good workers, and I expect them to have great matches. I thought their work in 2015, where they had a few matches against each other, was okay, a bit abysmal, mediocre, I could say. So I do hope that sometime in 2016 they get a pretty good feud. Hopefully it gets a good build up. I hope they have a great match. And then when we come back from commercial, we have the lights go out. Then Maria Kanellis comes out, cuts a promo about miracles. Mike Bennett then comes out. He cuts a promo. Very good promo, by the way, saying that he'll be a miracle that will save TNA and save pro wrestling. And Bennett puts himself over, basically comparing himself to Jesus, which is a very fucking good promo. I really did dig the promo. Good promo, good signing by TNA, great signing by TNA, in my opinion. Probably one of the best things they've done this year so far, apart from, well, no, it's only, it's the 5th of January. They can't really do much, but, they're on the new network. Their show looks professional. Mike Bennett looks like a star. I don't know what the hat, I was like, okay, weird. And he had these Nike shoes on. If I was in the back, I'd said, look, wear some nicer shoes. Get rid of the hat, you look an imbecile. But apart from that, I mean, he's a great worker. He's good on the mic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Mike Bennett can do in TNA, and I'm looking forward to what TNA is going to do with Mike Bennett as a whole. And obviously, Maria Kanellis called herself the first lady of professional wrestling, which really did grind my gears, because obviously Queen Elizabeth, from the WF back in the 80s and 90s, was the first lady of professional wrestling. But maybe that's different. Maybe she was the first lady of sports entertainment, because that's what WWE is. It's not professional wrestling. How dare I? Main event time. So you have TNA World Championship on the line. You have the EC3 defending, well, not defending. I wish it was defending. It will be next time. EC3 versus Fat Hardy. And even EC3's entrance just gets me pumped. Like, it has that real big fight feel to it. And there's just something about the guy that he just has. I don't mean to steal a pun off Bobby Roode here, but he really has that it factor, that one attainable. You just can't explain it. He gets it. His character is great. His style that he wrestles, it's not flash, it's not fancy. And do you know why he does it? It's because he doesn't want you to cheer for the guy. He does not want you to cheer for the man. And that's great, because in the end of the day, he's a heel. You should want to boo him. If he doesn't do nothing flash, if he doesn't do nothing fancy, you're not going to cheer for him. And when you're not cheer for him, that means you're booing him. When you're booing him, that will mean he is doing his job right. Like, it all makes logical sense to me. And to some people, it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, he's such a, like, he got you can't wrestle. And then there were certain members of the crowd that said, yes, he can. He's very good. And which I love, because in the end of the day, that's, you know, he isn't getting heat like, you can get heat like you're a bad worker. Like, I remember Miz back in the day, he had heel heat because he's a shit worker. Easy, that was him being a shit worker. Like, you can tell when someone's a shit worker. Miz was a shit worker. Miz is a very improved worker. Him versus Jack Swagger on not last week's edition of Main Event, the week before. Really, oh shit! I do apologize. I got playback there. Jesus fucking Christ! It's not what we wanted. I do apologize about that. It was playback from the computer there. I do apologize about that. I can't help that. Sometimes it bursts out. I really can't help. I do apologize about that. And that pissed me off, because I was on a topic there, and that's really grinding my gears. That Miz Jack Swagger on Main Event was a really good match about 2 weeks ago. Make sure you check out my review of that, and make sure you check that match out in general. So it's Miz versus Jack Swagger. You probably be able to find it. If you type in Miz versus Jack Swagger WWE Main Event 2015, find the spoilers for it, and then find the date itself. It's a really, really good 3.5 star match easily. Jesus Christ. So this is the final of the World Title Series. Tyrus and Jeff Hardy both leave ringside. They brawl from the get-go. Hardy does hit a side effect on the steps, which really made me cringe, because EC3 landed horrible right on the edge, like back first, bending on the edge there, and it really was nasty, really cringed me out, but really looked amazing. Fat Hardy then hit a side effect for 2. EC3 hit the 1% for 2, and a great near fall. I'm literally on the edge of my seat going, yes, 1, 2. Oh, no, just kicked out at 2. Really good near fall. Fat Hardy hit the Twist of Fate, which was a 2, and literally, this is what I did. The minute he hit the Twist, I was like, oh, fuck off. Literally, that's exactly what I did. I went, oh, fuck off. And then when he kicked out, I was like, yes, come on, you got this, my son. I love this match so much because I was so emotionally invested, because of my hatred for Fat Hardy, my love of EC3, combine them, world title on the line. That's money. And I'm pretty sure there's lots of you out there who would feel the same. You're not the biggest Matt Hardy fan. You love EC3. You want EC3 to win so much. Jesus Christ. EC3 then hits the 1% off the top to get the win. So happy he won. I was literally like, come on, my son, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Come on. Literally, I've never been so like that. I can't remember the last time I was so pumped a guy won the world title. The last time I was properly pumped like that, I will go when Seth Rollins cashed in at Mania. Rollins had a great match with Orton in the mid-cardish feud where Orton hit that RKO on Rollins. That was absolutely incredible from the curb stomp, which made me mark the fuck out. Great Mania, by the way. Really underrated Mania. And I'm going to be honest, the build for last year's WrestleMania was so shit that it made the show actual better. So if you actually look at it from a show standpoint, it wasn't very good. But because the build-up was so wank and the expectations were so low, it was actually a good show. But back to TNA. I can't remember the last time I was that pumped for a guy winning the world title. Like, I was literally stood up on my feet going, yes. Like, because I love the guy so much, and I was just so worried that TNA has the history of some really, really piss poor booking. Like, really poor booking. I mean, they had Fat Hardy win the world championship after 3 days of being involved in the storyline where EC3 had the belt for about 6 months. He was undefeated for about 2 years at that point. And then him to win the triple threat, pin Galloway at the Bound for Glory event is just really poor booking. But, you know, EC3 is still undefeated. He's now the TNA world champion. He is a kind of guy that you can build your company around, and you can build big-time baby faces around, because he's such a good heel. Galloway can be a star easily. Galloway could be a star. Galloway versus EC3 will be the TNA feud for 2016. Galloway will become a megastar from it. EC3 will get even hotter as a heel, and it's going to be great stuff. So as a whole, win-loss tie in the comment section, I'm going to give this show a win. Good job, TNA. It looked professional. There was some good wrestling in there. I enjoyed the women's match. I enjoyed the debut of the Miracle, which is Mike Bennett. I loved the Beer Money reunited. I marked out like a 6-year-old bitch. And as a whole, I did enjoy this show, and I'll definitely be reviewing next week's edition of Impact right here on this channel as well as on the ProWrestling.me and KocoSports channel. And also make sure you sign up for ProWrestling.me. It's completely free, 100% free. Become a member over there and interact with all the Team.me members and fans around the world, because we really want to build a community where it's okay to be a passionate fan of professional wrestling. No, don't post any spam. Don't post. If you have your own podcast that you want to post, click the podcast section, click enter. As long as you actually embed the podcast on there, you can put it up. I put mine up on all there all the time, even though I'm on their shows as well. But that's a different story. So sign up for ProWrestling.me. This show is a win. Like, comment, subscribe. I enjoyed this show a lot. I'm pumped for TNA. New start, new year, new network. Let's keep this momentum going. TNA Professional Wrestling is all about momentum. Once you have it, it's easy to keep going. Once you don't, it's so easy to fucking fall. That being said, this has been LK from ProWrestling.me. Have a very safe Wednesday. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch your asses down the line.